What is going on, everybody? We're back with another tier list. We're doing the Bleeding Edge, which actually, it was interestingly fun when I played it. It's been a pretty long time since I have, but it was okay. It was definitely a okay free game for Game Pass. I'm sure there's probably even some more characters on here by now, I would imagine. Unfortunately, I don't remember like anybody's name from this game. It's been a long time, but I do remember, playing who was good and everything. Actually, we are missing one. So I'm actually gonna stop that. Let's find a different one. I guess I could have just gone back. There we go. This one's better. Alright, what's going on, everybody? We are back with another tier list. We're doing Bleeding Edge today. I actually had a lot of fun originally playing this when it came out on the Game Pass for free. Oh my god, come on now. Unfortunately, I literally don't remember anybody's name from this game. It's been a long time since I've played, but I do remember who was good at the time and whatnot. So we're just going to go with that. I remember everybody's abilities and what they do. I just don't remember their names. They all had weird-ass names anyway. So we'll just go with Poster Boy. Everybody knows Damon, which is probably the only name that I'll end up remembering. I want to put him in... You know what? I think I'll just give him the nod to S, honestly. I think he's very good in what he's supposed to do. So he goes invisible, he throws shurikens or throwing stars, whatever you'd like to call it, and then obviously he has a slash ability as well. I think he's super solid. I think he's very good at getting in and or out of fights. I think he does a pretty good amount of damage for the class that he is, because he's not a tank, obviously. So I think he's overall good. I never, he's a problem to deal with, and he's great so long as you know how to use him. And just like everybody else on this list, obviously they can all be S tier, they can all be D tier, depending on who's playing them or how much time they have in that person. But overall, what I played as with and against Damon is definitely one of the better fighters in this game for sure. Granny is difficult. Granny is at least A for sure. I think I'm going to just have to keep her in A. She also does kind of have a vanishing effect. But I think, honestly, her biggest downfall is maybe her trap. I think it's not necessarily inconsistent, but I don't think it's always the most useful ability in the game. I don't remember it doing much damage, if any at all, but it's more just obviously to trap them there so then the person takes damage. But Granny herself really doesn't do that much damage, so it's more just that ability is much more... Okay, there's at least another teammate helping me damage this person that's locked in the cage. Her abilities are decent other than that. Again, being able to vanish and stuff, and she does do okay amount of damage, but she's more just like a... she's not a support unit as far as healing, but she's one of those like utility attack units, basically just to let her team do as much as they can to people and be a nuisance to everybody. This chick, I don't remember her name, but honestly, she's probably the worst in the game. So she is essentially, obviously all of these characters are melee, but some of them have at least an ability to do something longer distance than melee. Obviously anybody that does have a longer distance attack or ability, it doesn't do a lot of damage because it's is all just essentially melee focused game. But the fact that you have a healer that is doing that, it's just not good, and she gets nothing from doing it. She doesn't get more healing ability from attacking you this way, or anything like that. She just, to be essentially, her healing isn't that bad, but the fact that the only other way to help your team is to get in and fight, and then they don't have a healer if you need one, is just not good. And her abilities are not good, and she doesn't do a whole lot of damage. I would just steer clear from her. I know she's one of like the first people that everybody touches for the most part, but I would steer clear. This Rockstar guy, I'll give him to B. I think he's B minus, like C plus area. I think his biggest problem is just the fact that he is all melee, and if they're moving a lot or they're at a distance, he's at a very big disadvantage. He's very, very close range, and again, obviously all these fighters are essentially melee focused, but when you're doing kind of area in front of you melee attacks, as well as you don't really have an in and out ability, which he does have a slide that like leaves fire behind him, so, but honestly, like, nobody's really going to run into that to where it's like that's why you're using it, is to do damage. Like, most of the time it's to kind of get away from somebody or get to somebody to get in and out, but it's not even that big of a distance, you know, like some other people's abilities and stuff. Buttercup, I'll give Buttercup an A. I think if you've ever played Overwatch, this is essentially Roadhog, so she can essentially pull people in. She does a good amount of damage. She's obviously has a whole lot of health because she's a tank. I don't really have anything too bad to say about her. I'm pretty sure she has like kind of two forms, if that makes sense. Like this guy, he has two forms. He's either basically a support tank or a damaging tank, and I'll give him the nod to A as well. I think he has like huge potential. I think the biggest problem with both of them not going into S is that they just, though they have a lot of like abilities and stuff that they can do and variations, unless you like really get good with them or your team's kind of really helping you out, they're not doing as well. That's obviously said for anybody, you know, if you're just not good with that person, but I think being able to switch in and out of both things obviously takes a lot of skill and a lot of getting to know, as well as some are just, you know, not as useful as the others. So most of it, I would say he's definitely solid A. Obviously, if you get good enough with him, he could go into S. I would honestly probably just forever keep Buttercup in A. I don't think she ever makes it to the S tier, but she's definitely a very like hefty peeling utility tank for the team that's very good. This chick, she's got like the crazy chicken legs. I'll give her to B, honestly. I'm pretty sure she has kind of like a distance attack, but also like close melee range, but she is the fastest in the game as far as just being able to run, so that's more of her style, is kind of get in and out like Damon does. I don't remember her being like amazing. She can be good at times, and useful, but again, she's more of just the, I'm going to get in, attack this person that maybe is low health, or you know, in a 1v1 fight with one of my teammates or whatever, just kind of come in, attack, kill, and then dip again. That's kind of her play style. That play style can be useful, but also I feel like in 1v1 fights she is kind of lackluster. She's, you know, there's a lot of people that in 1v1s, obviously you have a higher percent chance of winning almost no matter who they are, but with her I feel like it's not there. One of these is Gizmo. I don't remember who Gizmo is, unfortunately. I know the name of is at least him or her. So she has essentially a sentry gun, which is decent, and a minigun as well. I'm going to put her in A, and I think the biggest reason why I can't put her in S is because I feel like the sentries are they're not that short range. They have I would say a pretty solid, not OP or not underpowered range, but I think they are very easily avoidable. And if you're kind of in a fight and that's what you're doing with her is putting down sentries, during the fight, especially in a 1v1, it's not very useful. Now in certain game modes where it's, like capture this area or whatever, something in that sense, I think she's probably the best in the game just because she can definitely kind of shut down an area with her sentries or at least cause a whole lot of problems. But I think the fact that one of her best and biggest abilities can be relatively easily dealt with, especially again depending on the game mode and stuff, it will not give her into S. And since we were talking about him, so he, I would say, is a pretty solid healer in the game. He is a ranged attack fighter. I honestly gotta put him into no, we'll keep him into A. So he's essentially like the Mercy of this. He just attaches to somebody, heals them. He does a little bit of damage, but if you start shooting, then the attachment wears off. He does also have like a shield wall, essentially, or a May wall, if you will. So that can be useful as well sometimes, but again, it can also hurt some people in ways. But I think he's solid. I think he is probably the best healer mixed with this guy. So I would give this guy, forget his name, but he was probably my favorite person to play, and he's a healer as well. So he shuts down an area easily. Yo, what's up, Plethros? So he throws down essentially an area effect that poisons the enemy as well as heals himself and all allies. He has a healing ability which is decent, and he does okay damage. And I think he has like some sort of like slither effect where he can get in and out as well. So he's pretty solid. I really like him. I don't remember anybody's name, which really sucks in this game. This Archangel dude, honestly, we're going to give the rest of these people A. I think they're all solid. So he's another healer. He's kind of like essentially Zenyatta from Overwatch. He kind of puts on a healing effect. His damage is iffy, so he actually has to... I'm good, how are you? How have you been? I haven't seen you in a little while. He has to essentially like chain up his attacks, which can be good, so long as nobody's hitting you. And I think they actually go through multiple people, which can be good. But again, in a 1v1, he's pretty much just gonna fly away, which he's the only person that can actually like fly essentially like up and down and all around, which is great. This dude is essentially just a melee attack tank. He does do pretty solid damage, but I don't know, there is a little bit of downfall being only melee and not having, he doesn't have a heal, he doesn't have a shield, he doesn't have anything, so it can be hurtful to him. I think it's more of he can be a lot more successful so long as he has a decent healer, because he has none of these. Now this Dolphin guy at least has a shield for himself. He does pretty solid damage, but then he's more of like Sigma Zarya type as far as I believe the damage he's receiving for a few little bit, or the attacks that he does in time. Yo, thank you for the follow, Teriyaki. Been a tough few months. Oh, that sucks, but I am glad you're back. Welcome back. But he does alright. I would say he's definitely one of the problem child tanks to deal with if they're playing him right. But let me know what you guys think, where you guys would place people. Definitely check this game out if you have Game Pass already. It's been a long time since I played, obviously, because I forget everyone's name except a few of the base people. So Let me know what you guys think. Oops. Alright, but what new